Here we are in the 2011 Ford Edge SEL, which is their crossover SUV. This particular model is just a front-wheel drive and doesn't have the onboard navigation. However, those are options that you can upgrade to. And this is the first time for Ford that they've really gone into a far more electronically integrated dashboard. And as you can see here, really the only analog gauge on here is the speedometer. Everything else is controlled through a series of buttons here on the steering wheel. And as you can see here, looking at the tachometer, I can switch to different displays there and get different bits of information. And this is a system that is tied in with the Ford Sync system by Microsoft. So it's kind of a high-tech dashboard, if you will, in that regard. And moving over here, you can see the Sync system, which is all touchscreen. Works great. Does take a little bit to figure out. If you're not really a gadget freak, this dashboard may frustrate you a bit, as it does have a little bit of a learning curve to it. Outside of that, you can see that there's not a whole lot of dials on the remainder of the console here, because it is all controlled in the Sync system. So I've been driving this car now for a few days, and it is powered by a 278 horsepower V6 3.5 liter, and it's mated to a 6-speed transmission. Produces 253 pound-feet of torque, and for this weight, this size of a vehicle, has more than adequate power. I haven't had any issues with that at all. Plenty of passing power, nice little growl to the motor and everything else. So you know, if you like that whole having abundant power when you need it, it delivers that in spades. Not a complaint there. It doesn't have some of the features that we've seen on other cars in its class, like the Mazda CX-7, for example. Features the blind spot indicators. This, however, as you can see there, has a little notch in the side mirrors on both sides that will actually show you your blind spots. So I guess it's a slightly different way of addressing that issue of blind spots, or people camping in your blind spots. But as you can see, this one does have the cloth interior. There is leather options available, depending on the price point that you want to spend. This one configures out just under $31,000, and like I said, it is a front-wheel drive Edge. So here's the shifter, main console, couple cup holders, plenty of storage here. It has 2 USB ports, which is really cool, and the regular video and analog inputs there, in case you want to hook up a video game system or something like that. Power door locks, power mirrors, all the standard equipment. No sunroof on this one, as you can see, but it does have quite a spacious cabin. There is quite a bit of room in this vehicle for 5 passengers. Pretty comfortable in that regard. And of course, the rear seat there does fold down for additional cargo space in the back there. This car just feels very nimble on the road, if you will. It doesn't it's not cumbersome to drive, it's not tiring to drive. It takes on corners really well, and just has a very solid feel to it. You almost feel like you can take on any kind of challenge in this car, because it doesn't have a ton of body roll for the type of vehicle it is, and just feels very, very solid in the true sense of the words. One of the nice things about driving this car is the very low amount of road noise. It's hands down the quietest crossover SUV I've tested to date, and in many regards very close in quietness to the Infiniti QX56 that I recently drove as well. You can be at freeway speeds and you'll have to keep looking down at the speedometer to realize that you're going as fast as you are, because the car is so dang quiet. It handles very well, very comfortable ride. It's supportive, but yet not squishy. Doesn't feel too spongy. It has a good amount of stance to it, if for lack of a better phrase. It just feels like it's just very solid on the road. And I'm sure if you got the all-wheel drive model, it would be, you know, more than capable of taking you up the mountain passes and anything else you need to do in that regard. So if you are in the market for a crossover SUV in the $30,000 to $35,000, $36,000 price range, I'd highly recommend you get out and give the Ford Edge a try. As you can see in the pictures that we posted, they do have some pretty aggressive body styling on it, which I think looks really good on the car. And you know, like I said earlier, if you can handle the learning curve there on the touchscreen, then you know it's really kind of cool once you get used to it. So anyway, we'll look forward to covering other Ford products down the road.